should have looked like. You know, a very solid working class family. But my dad liked listening to political podcasts every day when I went to school. He'd put Dennis Prager on and Michael Savage, and I kind of found it all very interesting. I really enjoyed it and got into it a bit myself as well on the internet, on Tumblr, all of that. And eventually when I got to university, I decided I wanted to try doing politics as well. And I was the first one in my family to go to university. So that was really, really exciting for me. I was working like 3 jobs, minimum wage. It was $8 an hour then. I still can't believe it. And I'll never forget, I was 19, driving back and forth to university, and my car tank was empty. And I found $2 under the mat in my car, and I was so excited because I was like, I don't have any money in my bank account. It's totally empty, but this $2 might be able to get me home today so I can wait for my paycheck tomorrow and get to university the next day. I was so stressed financially at that time. And oil and gas policy really pissed me off because we had just brought in all of these policies in Canada, you know, raising the carbon tax that increased prices of oil and gas, and it actually really affected me on a serious level of, am I going to be able to go to university or not? Am I going to be able to get to work? So conservative policies on oil and gas were something that I was really interested, anything that, made it easier for the working class, the regular person, day to day. So I joined this conference in university called Conserving Oil and Gas in Toronto. And my boyfriend at the time, who was this lovely Mennonite guy, decided to come with me. We flew to Toronto. It was one of maybe the second or third flight I'd been on in my life, and I was so excited to go to the big city. I got there, and it was being hosted by a man named Ezra Levant.
Ezra Levant. He's a source of debate, a source of controversy, a source of entertaining television. Introducing Ezra Levant only on Sun News Network.
Ezra Levant, yep. Man, I remember watching him on TV when I was in high school. I would have been like 14, watching him on Sun News. And he's just this insanely confident, always worked up guy about free speech and Trudeau, the left-wingers and government. I loved watching it with my dad. It was very fun. And to see Ezra Levant in person, I was full-on fangirling. It was embarrassing. I had read all of his books. I brought Groundswell with me, I think, to try and get it signed by him. And not only did he come and sign it, he sat beside me at this dinner at the conference and talked to me for like half an hour. And I went home just elated.
Oh, never mind.
So excited by the whole experience. But, you know, went back to my little life. And that was that crazy political experience I had, and I decided, okay, you know, university is getting difficult to pay for. I'm falling behind in my classes because I'm working so many jobs on the side. I have to kind of find a solution to this, so I decided I was going to join the Army. I'd filled out all the paperwork. I heard they had a program where they would pay for your university or for you to complete your university if you gave them a certain number of years, and that was going to be, you know, the best career option I could possibly have for my future. And then I got this email out of nowhere from Ezra, and it said, Lauren, I'm starting a new media company called Rebel Media, and we would love for you to contribute to it.
Sun News Network is off the air.
Bang, gone. That's basically what happened.
Sun News Network went off the air today.
Sun News Network has gone dark.
The end of Sun News Network.
Sun TV faded to dark.
With Sun gone, there's a hole on the far right side of the dial.
Ezra Levant fighting for freedom in Calgary. Good night.
Every day, the consensus media had one goal: stop Harper.
That's Ezra Levant, a journalist many consider to be the solo remaining voice of the conservative right in Canada.
Reporting live on election night here at his website, therebel.media's brand new Toronto studio for the very first time.
As you can see, it's just a box
with a bunch of green screens and green blankets.
I was shocked that he wanted me, of all people, the girl who came to get my book signed by him and was just starstruck, drooling, to make a video for Rebel Media, his new outlet to support working class, good conservative Canadians like me and my family. I was elated by the idea and said, absolutely. I didn't think much would come of it. I looked at their channel and it had a few hundred views here and there, and I figured I'm in political science, so it'll be a good opportunity to help my speaking skills, my presentation, to have this connection. But I really cared. I really wanted it to look good and to impress, you know, Ezra and all the people working at Rebel. So I wrote a script. I called it Why I'm Not a Feminist. And it was the first video I made for Rebel. I probably filmed it 13, 14 times, eventually paid a friend to come help me do it because I wanted to get it just right. And sent it over to Rebel. Didn't expect much of it. Figured it would get a few hundred views. Went to bed. Woke up the next day. And my life had changed overnight. It had not hundreds of views, not thousands of views, millions of views. Millions. My friends were calling me. My friends at university were coming up to me saying, I've seen the video, Lauren. Oh my gosh. I had thousands of messages in all of my inboxes on Facebook, Twitter, and in the span of 24 hours, I went from that fangirl wanting to get her book signed by Ezra Levant and going back to my little life working a minimum wage job to being at the center of everything I was watching, commentating on, and being fascinated by from afar. Just like that. It's hard to like bring back the memories at this point. It was, I feel like, such a hectic time in my life. There were so many changes, so many eyes on me, so many opportunities that I never thought I would ever get in my life. And I was desperate to make it work. Because like I said, it's not, I wasn't set up to be a doctor or a lawyer or something with some massive fund ready for university. This was like, if I got this opportunity and I made it work, that would change my life forever.
What a gorgeous day in Vancouver, and joining us to talk about herself is Lauren Southern. Great to see you in person.
Great to see you, Ezra.
Lauren, you are the #1 star of the Rebel.media. Your commentary on feminism, well, it got almost 600,000 views on our site, and it was pirated by other
Rebel
sites.
offered me to have a show at that point. They said I could go out and do recordings at protests and come out to Toronto once a month to do a show, Standoff with Lauren Southern. We're in serious trouble if we don't get an entirely new government.
Jesus.
If you don't protect everyone's free speech, you're going to find your own silenced at some point.
Okay, not to shit on Lauren, but does it seem strange that if you were a media company, you're like, we're going to grab this 19-year-old girl and she's going to be like a big... Doesn't that seem kind of strange? Maybe, maybe not.
Oh, they paid for the flights. Sorry. They paid for the flights, but they didn't pay for anything else. So I'd use a couch surfing app and I'd stay at random people's houses, sleeping on their floors to go and do this show in Toronto. It was insane. The fact that I'm not murdered or it is incredible. Incredible that I didn't get killed. Yeah, it really frustrates me now whenever I see people be like, oh, Lauren only got all these views and everything because she's a cute blonde girl or whatever. Like, no, I sacrificed a lot. I made a lot of efforts to make this work.
Why?
Because I cared. I deeply, deeply cared. I actually, I'm almost embarrassed sometimes looking back at it, but because so many people that I worked with in politics didn't actually believe in any of the politics that they spoke about. It was kind of an aesthetic. A lot of people who didn't make it in acting kind of got into politics and learned the talking points they had to say. And I was fully bought in from the start. I believed this was a civilizational battle for the heart of the West, for goodness, righteousness, conservatism, family, Christianity. That was all something that I truly, truly believed in at the core of my heart and soul, to the point where at that time. I was getting kicked out of university classes for speaking up. I was,